What you believe is exactly why you have what you have, not because of something outside of you. It's because of what you hold to be true. Listen, I want to jump right into this concept today around what's actually true, because all of us think we have a level of truth and we are living our truth these days, aren't we? The reality is that most of us are living our pain. Yeah, I'll say it again. Most of us are living our pain. We're living the illusion that we hold to be true in our minds as if it were the truth. But the reality is most of what we do is remember. We don't think, we recall. We recall what was as if it's so. And our inability to let the past be where it is impacts how everything shows up in our life today and moving forward. Now, I know that might sound a little bit weird and odd, or yes, it does make sense, but let's really take a look at that, because what you hold to be true is what you actually attract into your life. And that means that if there's pain that's been lingering that you continue to reference, you can only attract more pain. Now, that's not to mitigate that something did or didn't happen in your life. I mean, I've been heartbroken. I've lost it all. And I could have allowed those things to be my truth. That state, that moment in time. I want to argue that today, too many people argue for their limitations. But they argue for their limitations because they hold their limitation as truth. Every sacred text, every positive book, every reference that we have in the universe lets us know that what is now won't always be, and that we get to create something brand new. We live in a society that's constantly creating something. This tech revolution in history was one of the fastest in mankind's history, or known mankind history. But we often stay stuck in our little recent history, our decade-long history, our life history, and hold it as truth. But the reality is that we're just choosing to hold on to pain. That's not fun. But when you look at your life, and if you're constantly referencing pain, or you're constantly throwing pain at someone else, what is your truth? I always have fun with my religious friends around this particular concept. And this is not poking fun at religion. This is looking at this analyzation of what is true and what is not. I often hear phrases like the devil, well, just protection against the devil and all those things, protection against darkness, be safe. I understand what they mean. But the reality is that in the sacred text, it tells you that your God is bigger. Positive books tell you that you're capable, that you can create something brand new. But most of us argue for our limitations. So today I want to give you a couple of tips to let go of those limitations and begin to discover something new that you can apply yourself to, allow your truth to expand. Number one, stop thinking your truth is true. Now, I know that sounds weird and strange, but there's a whole thought in the ether. If you read the ether, there's thoughts that have been around for millennia that just circulate in the atmosphere, and we can either choose to pull it down and hold it as true, or just thank you and let it keep going. Too many of us grab whatever thought comes to mind and we hold it as truth, and we think, well, I feel blah. And so we give our blah. The reality is not how we feel. It's something we accepted into our reality and therefore felt it. When you decide to control what comes in your mind, you begin to create or recreate your truth. The second thing that I want to share with you is get around people who live life bigger than you. Now, what do you mean by that, Marquise? I don't mean because they live in a mansion. I mean those that show up who seem to smile no matter what. Because see, there's something in their spirit that they've tapped into that's a level of truth that allows them to show up every day in spite of what transpired the day before, in spite of who did what. Here's a way to find out if they're really that person. Do you ever hear them blaming somebody else for their circumstances? Or saying, oh, that person deserves this or deserves that? No, they don't. Those are the kind of people you want to get around so that you begin to elevate your level of truth. People who find solutions to life. People who find reasons to smile. People who look for the silver lining. Why? Because it's going to expand your ability to step into greater truths so that you get to actually live versus recall and remember. The third thing I want you to do, pick up the book, The Secret. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I don't care if you've ever heard of it. Google it. There's a great movie around it. There's a book around it, best-selling. Go, because what it's going to do is start to mess with your thinking. It might even challenge your religious beliefs. It might challenge your upbringing. It might make you realize your mama and your papa were wrong. Your teachers lied. The system isn't giving you the truth. You might have to turn off the news to reprogram this so that you begin to discover a new truth. You see, in my country, America, a lot of what we've struggled with is what is the truth? What is the truth? What is the truth? What is the truth? But the reality is that we've been believing what somebody else tells us instead of creating a world in which allows us to discover our own truth. And going back to rule number one, whatever you discover that own truth to be, being willing to open and expand it with more information. This is Marquise Martin Hayes. The truth is what you make it. My only question is, what will you continue to attract?